We might as well. Let's check it out. Yeah, you know I'm always fierce in the fashion that I wear. I be stunting on my peers. Diamonds glare, make them steer. In the vert, switching gears. Moving forward, never rear. I don't even look in mirrors. Yeah, you know I'm always fierce. Garments in my closet so fly, they need a passport. Fabric imported from Indonesia, need a visa. Popping tags at my leisure. Shift gears, two-seater. I don't care if I'm on a bus or a 10-speeder. You will never catch a mega in a dusty.
All right, what's up, everybody?
All right.
What's going on?
Hey. We live.
Hey guys, we live. All right, so welcome to Fierce Entertainment Live, episode 18. I'm Rob Henlon. I'm joined by my little sister Jessica.
What's
Sorry,
up?
Jessica.
Hey, everybody.
My sister from another Mister, Starr Dalton. What's up, Starr?
Hi everyone. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
And the man himself,
Uh-oh.
Mr. Stripes, Matthew Cooley. What's up?
Hey everybody, welcome.
Mr. Stripes.
Oh man, what's going on? Oh, yo, so you guys at home, if this is your first time joining us, yo, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel and you get to see some of our past episode and our previous events. We have tons of footage on there. So go to Fierce Entertainment on YouTube and follow, subscribe.
Yeah.
And if this is your first time joining us with Fierce Entertainment Live, this is a talk show. It's like a happy hour vibe. So you guys
Yes.
will love it, where
Okay.
we interview, inspirational.
We can do that. We can do
You can do that. You can do that. Yes.
So this is where we,
Yes.
interview inspirational people, community leaders, entrepreneurs, and of course, artists and entertainers of all genres.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course,
Love
definitely.
it. And this is an interactive show, so it's
Yes.
more fun when you get involved. So hit the share button, hit the like button, hit those hearts, and make comments. When you make those comments, we're gonna pull you right on into the show.
All right. Yeah, I see you. Wayne's already commented. Wayne's like, "What's up, beautiful people? Where's my drink?"
Hi.
And Brittany's over
Hi,
there.
Brittany.
She's on Periscope. Yeah, she's
Okay.
like-
Twitter.
One of our
yeah, she's going up
models.
to her.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Hi,
Tim.
Tim.
Yes, Taryn.
Love the love here. Oh my goodness.
Mr.
Yes.
Pineapple. Yeah,
It's the
right.
pineapple.
Mr. Pineapple
I
over there
wanted
in Tampa.
I wanted to add
go
to
ahead,
that,
Starr.
though, for the ones that are watching, be sure to share the link with your friends.
Yes.
Share the love.
Yes.
Share the
The
love.
more the merrier, the bigger the party. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
our guests would also enjoy the love and support as well.
Yes.
that-
Yes.
Yes. The social
Yes.
distance party where you don't need to wear a mask.
You don't have to wear a mask. Yes.
That's the best time.
Okay. Hey, Matthew, my mom wants to know where's your goblet. If this is your.
I'm at my family house, so they don't have the goblets and castles. So
Uh,
Oh, no.
hey guys. Hey, shout out to Christina Medina.
Oh,
Christina Medina, a good friend.
Christina.
She's joining us.
Here's family.
She's joined the party.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah. Welcome to the party. Yeah, so definitely comment. If you're at home, if you're watching this, go ahead and comment. Go ahead and share. Hit that share button right now. Share it with your friends. And we got a dope show today. So we definitely want you guys to enjoy it. And Wade is asking where's his drink. Wade, you know, this is virtual. This is virtual. Wow. All right. So before we, get started, like officially get started,
Yeah.
we got to give our thoughts and prayers out to our neighbors over in the Florida Panhandle, as well as in Alabama. They've been hit with Hurricane Sally. So a lot of people over there right now are going through some difficult times. Has been like a lot of flooding going on, and it's just horrible for some businesses and the residential areas is just still underwater. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and to piggyback that, we also want to send out our thoughts and prayers to California and Oregon, which is like the worst, historical in America.
yes.
There's a lot of stuff going on. So
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Scary.
Now I heard, I'm hearing like with those fires that's going on that they can see the smoke. The smoke is up in Europe from America now. It's all the way in Europe.
Really?
So yeah,
Wow.
so it's crazy.
Yeah, my family
Crazy.
has a home in Wyoming, and they're getting all of the smoke there as well. So
Wow. And our good friends Bob Poet and
Kenneth and
Kenneth,
Paul,
yeah, Kenneth Brown.
um,
They're over there in LA. I hope they're doing okay.
yeah.
Shout out to Brian Morgan, B and the family. They were one of our guests, and man, they had that dope song. Brian, you got to talk to me. Brian, we got to follow up. We got to talk about that song, man. Yeah, I know we spoke a little bit about it. That song was number 2 in the UK, and we got to release it right here. The first time that it was played in America was on our show. It's called A Good Time. Be in the Family, A Good Time. So yeah, Brian, man, that thing is doing good. And our good friend Rich Fontaine, every day with the daily motivation.
yeah,
So shout out,
And
yes,
shout out
yes,
to his wife Jasmine.
yes. You can't forget Jasmine and the beautiful baby. Yes. Oh man, so good stuff, man. You guys share.
Love the love.
Yes.
So I wanted to bring up that this month is actually Hispanic Heritage Month. It's gonna but it runs through the 15th. Well, it goes from the 15th to October 15th.
Yes.
So
Yes.
all our Latinas, definitely drop emoji. My father's from Brazil, and then also my fierce fam has also got Latin descent.
Yes, from
Representing
Panama.
Yes.
Drop those flags. Please drop those flags in the comments.
Yes. If you have some Hispanic background, whatever, like Jessica said, our family's from Panama. We can't do it right now because we're working, but I need my family to come in and drop those Panamanian flags. There's going to be some Puerto Ricans going to be dropping some Puerto Rican flags. I know Kevin Carr is watching. He's half Puerto Rican. I heard him on the radio. Kevin, I need you to drop that Puerto Rican flag. Represent
Where's
La
your flags
gente.
at?
He's like,
Para
what?
tu gente.
You know that?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Oh, that's my wife. My wife is Puerto Rican. She said,
Puerto Rican.
Cool.
Puerto Rican.
Yeah, okay.
DR. Is that DR?
Okay. Dominican Republic. Yeah, drop those flags, man. We want to see those emojis and represent
Love it.
para tu gente. Okay, so okay, and we have Cristina Medina. She's representing Argentina and Puerto Rico. She's half and half, Argentina and Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So and before we forget, I got to salute. Matthew and I are military, Army veterans, but we have to shout out. Yes, we have to shout out our Air Force brothers. Today is officially the Air Force birthday, and they are 73 years old. So, they were founded in 1947, September 18th. So, shout out to the Air Force birthday. Anybody, if you know somebody that was in the Air Force, go ahead and give them a shout out. I usually tease the Air Force, but I'm gonna give them a break today because today is their birthday.
You're so generous.
My best friend Charlene in Oklahoma and her husband.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. My brother-in-law, Richard Augusto. Yeah, he was he's the Air Force. Yep. So
we appreciate you all.
shout out. All right. So we have a dope show today, man. So excited. And then thank you guys at home for chiming in and sharing. Keep dropping those flags, represent your country. Let us know where you're from, where you celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. But I'm gonna take it over to you, Starr. Can you tell us the lineup? Who do we have coming on today?
I know every week I'm like, we have amazing talent, and it is amazing every week. So we have radio personalities Danie B and Kevin Kahn of 95.3. They're on in the morning, so a lot of people probably
Yes.
Recognize them.
Yeah.
I started tuning in.
Yeah, they're like
I
that.
really love them in the morning. Yeah,
Yeah, they're like the hottest thing popping. They're the hottest thing popping in Orlando right now, man. You know what I'm saying? Danie B, Kevin Khan, 95.3 in the mornings, man. So yeah, we're excited to talk to them and to find out because they just got promoted like 3 months ago on that morning gig. And so yeah, so it's going to be exciting to talk to them and get to know them. Who else do we have, Starr?
Another guest we have is an Olympic winner or someone that was in Olympics that made history.
Yes.
It's a Jamaican bobsledder.
Yes.
Devon Harris.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. We got someone that made history here. So
inspiring.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah, Devon Harris. So Mr. Harris, so if you guys at home, if you ever watch that movie back in the days, the Jamaican bobsled team, so he was one of those people. He's one of the Cool Running. Yeah. Cool Running.
You can on Disney Plus right now.
Yes.
Cool
Yes.
Running.
Okay. Yeah. So he's one of those people that the story that was made out of.
So cool. Literally.
Yeah. Literally.
Cool. And then our fashion designer.
Yes, Elizabeth Devon. She's a fashion designer and stylist. She's part of our Fierce Fans. She's been in a lot of our shows, and we love her.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
She does everything.
Yeah.
Children's clothes, men's, female, you name it.
Some things on shows, and then behind the scenes film sets. So costuming, set design, stuff like that.
Yeah. So she's very talented. We're happy to have her on here. She's been working with us for years. So once again, for those of you, if you're just now following us and tuning in with Fierce Entertainment, what we do, we've in the past produced several fashion shows. Our largest fashion show is Orlando International Fashion Week. We're the creators and owners of Orlando International Fashion Week. And we work with kids. We work with different types of designers and models. And what we do is throughout the week is we create different fashion shows that are tailored to specific audiences. Yeah. So it's a real cool time. Not sure if we're going to be able to do anything this year. It's just yet for this year, but we're talking about some things. Yes, it's 2020, so maybe early in 2021. But without further ado, I think it's time. Should we? I think let's bring in our first guest.
Who we bringing in?
All right. I say let's bring in. Let's start with Kevin Khan and Danie B. You know
all right, let's do it.
All right, that's cool.
What you doing? You double cupping over there?
I'm getting a drink of water so my throat don't get dry.
I found the beat. All right, you the rapper here. I'm the DJ, son.
Yeah, this is okay. I like this. This birthday song's kind of going to speak to what we got going on right now. We in the middle of a pandemic and we just in the house.
Okay. All right, let me hear those bars, sis. Let's go.
Where you at?
In the house.
Where you going?
In the house.
Where you been?
In the house.
Can I come in?
Watch your mouth.
Where you at?
In the house.
Where you going?
In the house.
Where you been?
In the house.
Can I come in?
Watch your mouth.
Check it. 2020. What did you do to me? We in the house. It's a state of emergency.
Oh, yeah?
An emergency that's like my best friend, y'all.
Oh, yeah?
The germs is knocking, but I ain't gonna let them in.
Where you at?
In the house. Where you going?
In the house.
Where you been?
In the house.
Can I come in?
Watch your mouth.
Where you at?
In the house.
Where you going?
What I say?
Where you been?
What I say?
Can I come in?
No.
Right. Dope. What's up?
Hi, guys.
Wow.
How are you?
Oh man. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Yeah. So what was up with that? Is that just?
When's it available on iTunes?
I don't think anybody wants that on iTunes.
Listen, I remember I just happened. I listen to you guys whenever I can. And I just happened to be listening that day, which was dope because it was I think it was August 7th when y'all dropped that my son's birthday. And I know y'all never do that, and I think there was like some kind of hesitation, and NDB was like, I don't know if we should do it, and Kevin was like, yeah, it's all right, we're gonna drop it. So was that, is that your first hit? You know what I'm saying? Because the reaction, the reaction from the fans.
That was the first one we did on air.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not the I'm not the biggest fan of it.
No.
I love it. I love it. It's funny. It's one of those things where it's like, man, I got to do this. And then when you finally do it, you're like, okay, this is really fun. This is her masterpiece. So she'll just come up, she'll literally, I always say in the morning, I'm like, she comes up with the bars. I just drop the beat. That's it.
Wow.
And then I just follow along with whatever's going on.
Okay. Okay, so it was reversed. So Danie B was like, let's drop it. And Kimmy was like, oh, I don't know, right? That's what okay.
We were like, we'll see if you guys like it, because we're trying it out. You know, we're a new show, so we're trying new things, and that's something really like. So we did something like, the idea came to me because we did something like that when I was growing up in Atlanta. The radio show I used to listen to, Ryan Cameron, he used to do that, and they did theirs a little differently, but that's where I got the idea from, and I was like, I love this as a kid. We have to do something.
Yeah, I love your energy. I don't know. It was just fun. It was just fun to watch you guys. It was. I mean, I know you guys kind of cringe like watching it back, like but it was really cool. Like,
I'll tell you what, it was something we wasn't that's something we weren't expecting, but it was, you guys did it. What was the reaction from the fans and your listeners?
It's grown to a point where everybody, like I got my best friend, he has a daughter, and his daughter listens on the way to school, and she's like, can Uncle Kevin sing that name in the song? And then things kind of like trail off and add to people, because I mean, as corny and cringy as it is, like it makes people feel something, and that's really the goal for our show. Like, we want to make sure you leave feeling something all the time.
Nice.
And it was like you said, the kids.
The kids love
that. That's
You know how it must feel to go back to school and be like, yo, my name was on the birthday song.
When the guy called in and he rapped his own verse, he just started rapping, and we were like, okay.
He went right to the beat and I'm like,
it's crazy. I'm 46 years old, and I called in and I was like, can y'all say my son's name on the birthday song? And you guys did it, so thank you. Shout out for you guys for doing that. Shout out my son.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I mean, so when you hear the promo for your show, right? They're like, they're not just faking best friends. They really are best friends, and they're roommates, and they live together. Is that true? Is that really true? You guys are really best friends, and you guys really live together? Like,
like I know everything about her.
Yeah,
I know that she has a shipment of castor oil every once in a while to make sure. She's legit. My best friend. Like, when she first came here in Atlanta, actually, you tell that story a lot better.
What you mean?
How I introduced myself.
Yeah, like when I first got here from, I'm originally from Atlanta, but I was working in upstate New York. And so I was so glad to come to Florida just because of the change in weather and just the change of scenery, because living in New York is rough anyway. And then it's cold, and I hate the cold. So anyway, I come down here and I've been listening to the station. I'm like, dang, everybody at this station is good. I got competition. I'm gonna have to so I'm like kind of nervous because you're the new kid walking in, and everybody's just been there. They know each other. And so my first day, I'm in there and I'm like, okay, all the buttons I pushed correctly. I didn't break anything. We're good. And literally before I'm about to turn on the microphone to speak, he busts in, hey! I'm like, I'm already nervous. I'm already on edge. I'm trying to make a good impression. And I'm like, hi, my name's Danie. I'm about to talk right now, but I can't. So ever since then, we've just been cool.
Yeah, and our friendship is tight to the point that like we have each other's back like 110%. Like, we got fired once. I don't know if you guys listen to Amp Radio, 101.9 Amp Radio.
Yes.
That's where we came from. She was afternoons and I was nights, like she said. And when they flipped to rock, they fired us. So there was a point in time where she was gonna head to Atlanta, and she was gonna leave. She's like, I'm done. I'm not making no money. I'm good. I was literally breaking dough at the clubs and getting her to host them with me.
Yeah.
And then I got offered a night position in Tampa. So when I got offered that night position in Tampa, my heart was more into DJing as opposed to being on the radio. And I told them, like, look, I love being on the radio, but I want to give it to somebody. I'd rather you hire somebody that's gonna, like, you know, actually give you the time of day, and this is their full passion. And I told them to hire her over me. I was like, yo, hire her, get her in the building, work with her, and they decided to hire both of us. And from there, she went to Power. From going to Power, it trailed off to like bringing me here. Like after I got her, after like she always like thanks me, and she's always like, yo, like I give this career to you, like I got you no matter what. But at the end of the day, it's just because we just scratch each other's back.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep, man. And I mean, it's good to have that type of bond with somebody. And you know, you guys like you just met, but you know, you reached out. Yeah, I mean, at that point, you guys had just met, and
no, at that point we had each other about like 2-3, like we've known each other like 5 years now. So
damn, okay, okay.
It had been like a good 2.
Yeah, we had.
Wow.
Clicked. So yeah, he was like, yeah, you're not going back to Atlanta. Good job. And he was even the one, I wasn't even like pushing to do a show together. I was just trying to have a job. And he's like, we're gonna get a show together.
Yeah,
he is the king of speaking stuff into existence. That's why I ever see no negative nothing, because that man's tongue is like he says stuff and it's just, and God is just like,
wow.
For me, sure.
I'm a very spiritual cat. Like we even on our show, like we start the morning with a Bible verse. We pray right before how to do. Right. And we really try to speak something great into the show. And again, like it's all about making people feel. And that's what we try to like at least ask the universe, you know,
to help us.
That's amazing.
Wow. And so now, so you guys went to 95.3, and then you guys used to be in the afternoon. I remember hearing you guys like in the midday, but then now recently you guys just jumped to the morning spot. Like that's like the hottest spot on the radio, right? Tell us about that transition and how did that happen? Is that something you spoke into fruition, or how did that go down?
He thought it. That is something, they basically saw something in us. They saw our chemistry because, like he said, he brought me on in Tampa. From Tampa, things didn't work out, and so they shifted me here. And then when I got here, I brought him in. Well, actually, Will was looking for you, really. Like, they had looking for me. Our PD just so happened to be with us at the same company. But he was in Miami while we were in Orlando when we were both at AMP. So when we got let go, he just kept his eye on us.
Wow.
Doing the social media and all of that. So then when I got here, when the new boss comes in, he wants to go around and meet everybody. The first thing he asked me, he's like, "What's Kevin doing?" And I'm like, Kevin's around, he's chilling or whatever. You trying to get him on? Because that's my friend. And he's like, I'm just asking. And so like he offered, we eventually get Kevin in, and then we're kind of doing our own thing. And then they still see our chemistry and they're like, we're gonna kind of invest in this. So they start having us do like the talent coaching and like coaching, like as far as like, because we already had chemistry, but we still needed to kind of get into like, how do you do this as a show together?
Right.
And so they started kind of coaching us behind the scenes, and then they put us on in the afternoon together, and they're like, okay, that's going to be your spot. And he's a DJ. So if you know anything about DJ culture, I think you could speak more to that. Like the 5 o'clock traffic jam, the 5 o'clock spot is like the spot. Like if you're a DJ, you have the 5 o'clock spot, that means you're the DJ.
Right.
And so when we got that just kind of, and then like we just continue to grow. And they're like, okay, we can't just leave them in afternoons. Like they have a little bit too much to give, because afternoons is also kind of confined. So
yeah. And I mean, speaking of the 5 o'clock spot, I mean, I listen to 95.3 often, but since like the pandemic and this whole year, I haven't been driving as much. So I usually listen in my car. So I haven't been listening. But then recently, I heard it, and I was like, "Yo, Kevin, you ain't no joke, man. You're a fire DJ."
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, it used to be like DJ Nasty and all these cats and like these DJs have like big names, you know what I'm saying, and especially in the city. But when I heard, man, so how long have you been DJing? Because you got mad skills for real.
I'm 26 years old now.
Okay.
So I started DJing when I was 15.
Wow.
15. And then I like professionally, I would say I started DJing like professionally in the clubs at like 21. And I would say that I really started like, you could see the develop, like the mass development within the past, like, I guess 2 years. The last 2 years was like when I really was like, actually during that time when we were fired, we were fired, my head into it. Like, I've really grown a lot in the culture, and I appreciate the culture. Like for me, DJing is a lot more than just playing records. It's a lot more of the feelings, and well, it's a lifestyle, And I literally told myself so there's a post on my Instagram. I'll forward it to you guys, but I had a notebook paper when I was in high school, and I didn't know what I was gonna do in high school, because in high school I wasn't a troublemaker, but I wasn't like the best kid in class. So yeah, I was clueless as to what I was gonna do in the future. I was very clueless. And I had a point in life where I felt like I didn't belong in a lot of places, and I wrote a whole bunch of goals that I wanted to do, and right across the board was like, I want to work on Power 95.3. I want to be a DJ on the station. I want to be on the 5 o'clock mix. I want to be DJ Nasty, DJ Chino, all these people. Like I now have friends, and I look up to them.
Yes,
I have looked at like Nasty to get the graces of Nasty. When I got the 5 o'clock traffic jam, it was such a touching moment that Nasty even came to me. He was like, "Wow, yo, this is like big, like congratulations,
Yes.
And then, Chino, me and Chino fight like brothers. Chino has helped me out a lot in the game when I grew up, like growing in the game, like to the point that we just fought, we stopped talking, and after that we talked again. We fight like he was like my older brother, like fighting me all the time. And he came to me personally. He said, "Hey, congratulations!" And it felt good, because those were the people when I was in high school that kept my dream alive.
Wow.
And if you believe that I spoke that, and I really put my head to it and wrote it down, and like I'm here sitting, living in it. It feels surreal.
That's amazing. And shout out to Chino. We know Chino. We got to work with him a few times. So shout out to Chino. Never got to meet Nasty yet, but if you guys are listening at home, DJ
Nasty cool. The most humble.
Yes, Nasty's amazing.
Yeah, he's the nicest person on planet Earth. You really know that this man
does what he does.
Does what he does. Amazing.
I remember when I first got him, we just talking to him like in the hallways and stuff, and then like Kevin told me, he's like, "That's DJ Nasty." I'm like,
"Oh wow,
DJ Khaled, DJ Nasty."
So if you guys listening at home, DJ Nasty works with Khaled, that whole We the Best movement, all those artists. He's on tour with them when they go on tour. So he's part of that big name superstar, and but shout out to him, and he's Dominican, so I know shout out to him. It's Cuban. Okay, Spanish Heritage Month. So shout out to DJ Nasty.
I had tagged his brother today, Lenny, and invited them to watch the show. Because Lenny and DJ Nasty work together.
I was like, Lenny, them two. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, you got the long dread.
Scary looking. Lenny's scary, man. Every time I see Lenny, he's like, "Oh."
Yeah. He came to our fashion week, Lenny. Starr, you invited him to one of our very first fashion events, one of our press parties. Yeah.
So I have a question, Kevin. So I have read somewhere you're also a musician. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm a musician. You said?
I read somewhere that you DJ. You also on the radio, and then you're a musician.
Actually, in high school, I was also one of those kids that tried to that learned instruments and tried to like sway women. And like, play guitar, and I had this YouTube singer, and like, yeah, I used to sing all the time. And then there was a moment. So little history on that. My mom, for the Vietnamese. Okay, so I come from a Vietnamese Puerto Rican family.
Okay.
My pops is Puerto Rican. My pops is from Brooklyn, New York, and he was a DJ back then.
Brooklyn. Brooklyn.
Yeah, my mother, she's Vietnamese, and she used to travel with some Vietnamese music group, and she used to sing for the Vietnamese community all the time.
Wow.
So I have a little bit of music background just because of them, but I used to sing all the time because of my mom. And I one time, this is gonna be cringe. This is a very cringy story. So I was like infatuated with this girl. Like I really wanted to be with this girl. We were back and forth. I wrote a song for her, right? And I went on the talent show. I put myself in so many different places of the talent show. Like I was the host of the talent show. I was doing another guitar riff for one of my best friends. That I didn't focus on my own piece. I choked in front of everybody.
Oh no!
Like I mean, it was at the point that I was like,
did they boo you?
I got friends in the crowd going, "We here for you. It's okay." And I'm like, it was so bad. And then,
wow,
I became a DJ.
Wow. So would you consider DJing as being, or DJs in general as being musicians? Because that was my question. So it was a good segue start. Like, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, and you're like very good with your mixes, you know what I'm saying? You're dope, you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like you have to have that type of air where you know the beat. You gotta, it's all about the beats, and you're playing along, you're doing your own thing, you're scratching with it. So would you consider that a musician? Your DJ as a musician? Should they put in that category, or is it its own thing?
I would say yeah. I would say I think nowadays, especially, DJs are now producers. They're now graphic designers. I think being a musician can help DJing. As far as being a musician, I would say turntables are like a choice of instrument. I would say, because it's just DJing is its own. DJing is a culture in itself. Like,
right.
For me, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get really deep into this, but for me, spinning, like, I was always taught growing up that if you're gonna learn something, you're gonna learn everything about it.
Right.
And when you start to really dive into everything in the culture, you start to fall in love with the actual craft, and you build yourself on it, and you have to have a wide variety of music choice.
Yeah.
You have to educate yourself. You got to know, like, well, this song was sampled from here, and this song came from here, or they got this riff from here, and you'll be able to take that and kind of manipulate it into what's now. So, and then on top of that, when you're in front of a big variety of crowds, like an example, Orlando alone is known for being ADD. Like when it comes to crowds, and there's no way of satisfying Orlando sometimes.
That's right.
You have to be able to like feed to everybody, because there's Dominicans, there's Puerto Ricans, there's white people, there's black people, there's Asian people, there's Punjabi. You get to play Punjabi in the club sometimes, And there's that old cat that's just like, I like old school, and you're like, all right, I got to everybody,
Yes.
Yeah. So I think just diving into the culture itself, I wouldn't put it into too much in a musician quote.
Right.
Not too much.
Right. But it's like maybe partially, I guess, somewhat. So my nephew is a 12-year-old nephew, he's Jessica's son. He's 12 years old, and he's trying to learn how to DJ, man. So we'll put you on this. I will put you on the spot, Kevin. Can you mentor him? Help him out. Give him some tips, pointers.
Yeah, I'll be 110%. I've already done that to so many people.
Really?
Wow.
And a lot of kids do. One in specific. Oh, two. I'm gonna drop two. So one, his name is Kid K, and I met him when he was, he was like 12. He was 12. Now he's probably like 15, 16.
Yeah, he's all grown now.
Yeah, but I met him when I was doing nights in Amp Radio. I think I saw the video of it too, but his mom was like, yo, my son is a massive fan of you. And every time he would call me like late at night, this is when I was mixing at night, he would call me and be like, hey, it's Kid K, bro. Remix. And he would ask me this song, like ask me about a remix all the time. And like,
that's cool.
And I would just basically give him tips. I would give him pointers. Like I'd be like, hey, like just do it this way, this will be good. His mom organized the time for his birthday and be like, hey, his one birthday gift he wanted was to meet you. So
wow.
I was like, okay. She was like, I'm gonna surprise him and bring you there. So they surprised him. They brought him to the station, blindfolded him.
Wow.
We went to the station. We put him on the radio. We made some sweeper for him. I gave him a mass folder that I was working on since I started the Groove at the time. I used to DJ at the Groove City Walk.
Oh yeah.
It's all clean music, but it's all like the party anthems, And I crafted all of that for him, and I just gave it straight to him. I was like, look, take the music.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then there's people that hit me up on the 5 o'clock now. They hit me up and they're like, hey, I heard you do this. I'm trying to DJ now. What can I do to do this? And I lay out a whole paragraph on how they can improve themselves and what can make them better. I take the time to educate because, again, I feel like that is also a part of the culture. Like you're supposed to people and educate them,
That's what's up. Well, he's following all of your pages on Instagram. I'm gonna give you the task. Follow inquisitive and follow through.
Well, the key for him starting too is within you guys as well, because when he learns the music that you guys grew up on, it just expands his knowledge. He gets in the clubs and stuff, and he starts dropping these hits in the middle of nowhere. You're gonna get that one cat in the crowd that's like, ooh,
how did he know about that?
Where is that from?
Yeah.
Cool. Like I have. I'm not gonna say I have it all, but I have a very thick.
No, you have a lot. Like, no.
I'll go from like.
No, I feel it because she's a Delta. Like we were in the club one night, and out of nowhere, I think it was like Founders Day, and I was like, I don't even know how you know that, but he was just like to be real out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, what you doing?
Okay, so Danie, since you mentioned it, so y'all are Deltas, y'all are sorority sisters, right?
Yes, we are Delta Sorority Incorporated.
So what's that sound that y'all make? Do y'all bark or do y'all do something? I mean, what do y'all do?
Today, honey. You might got something. They gonna come for us.
Oh, okay, never mind. Let me stop. Okay, so Kevin, question: do you, on your mix, do you play reggae, dancehall music, and whatnot?
I love dancehall. I love
good
anything island. I love.
Yeah, cool.
Island vibes is amazing.
That's what's up, because you're gonna love our next guest. Oh, sorry, I was setting you up, Kevin. I was gonna say you're gonna love our next guest because he's straight from the islands of Jamaica, the JA. Whatever.
Okay.
Hey, you gotta hang around. He's Olympian. The Cool Runnings. Speaker. Yeah, he's an amazing speaker. He has a company. You guys stick around? You guys gonna stick around for a little bit?
Well, it depends.
Yeah, we have to record some stuff. We're still
okay. Yeah, I know you guys are busy. All right, so I'm gonna let you go. I hope you guys go watch it in the back. But before I let you go, I'm gonna introduce you to another DJ. Just with the question of the day, we want to get your answers for the question of the day, and then boom, you guys are out of here. Cool. All right.
All right. Let's
Cool.
do it. Let's do it.
Check. DJ Tron coming at you live and direct. Fierce Entertainment live each and every Friday, 6 p.m. So this is the part we've all been waiting for. What is something you've always wanted to do as a child but never got to do? So for me, I wanted to become a black belt in Kung Fu. So a couple years ago, I went and took one lesson. And then they were like, okay, you go spar against this lady, this little old lady. She just gotten beat by somebody else, and she kicked my butt, and I quit that same day. So a little old lady kicked my butt in Kung Fu, and I said, forget it, I'm done. So I'm asking everybody on the team, what's something you always wanted to do as a child but never got a chance to do? It's on you.
All right, so we're gonna throw it to Danny B first, and then we'll go to Kevin.
Yeah. I need to think about that one.
I played that clip earlier because I guess that goes right in line. I guess it's I never got. Well, I still feel like I could do that, but I'll say this one then. I've always wanted to be a one-hit wonder. I just want one hit. I don't want to be like a singer. Right? I just want one massive hit that just sweeps the world, and I tour and I perform and all that, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Okay, so Kevin, you got to sing in front of a whole group of people, and I think that was pretty dope. Is there anything else musically that you were inclined to do, or anything
that I've wanted?
Yeah,
something I've always wanted. I did wanna do culinary school at one time.
Oh wow.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I wanted to take culinary classes. My high school was like a trade school, and there was like a culinary side. Yeah, I was like, I want to be culinary.
Likes to cook.
My mom was like, "You're not gonna be a cook."
Wow.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys, for hanging out with us, man. We appreciate your time. I know you guys got like all kinds of stuff going on, and today is Friday, so I know you got gigs and whatnot. Definitely check them out every weekday, right? From 5 to 9? Is it 5 to 10? 6 to 10. So I'm just making up time. From 6 to 10.
He's like, I just know I did 6 today. Maybe I only 8. I heard them.
I don't be waking up that early. Oh man, they are funny, man. The other day, Spanish Heritage Month. You guys, Kevin was throwing out words that his dad uses. This is Spanglish from New York, New Yorican, and he was making Danny B guess. And so he was like, "Vamos pa Guama," and he's like, "What? Guama? What?" Wait, you say it right? How do you say it right? Am I saying it right, Kevin?
Yeah, it's Guatemala.
Guatemala.
I was so because the way he wrote it out. The way he wrote it out is what was confusing me.
I wrote it out like
so I was like, wow. And I'm like, do I pronounce it like Spanish? Like, ooh, I, and eat. Like, I was like, my vowels. Like, it's not coming out right.
Oh man! And so that was. So the answer was Walmart. That's where that was saying, "Let's go to Walmart." So that's dope, man. So you guys definitely listening to them every day here in Orlando. You guys are also on Alexa, right? How can I hear you on Alexa? Let's go to iHeart Music.
Power 95.3 skill, and then just say, Alexa, play Power 95.3, and it'll play.
That easy. Cool. So anybody anywhere that's listening, you guys can check them out every weekday. Thank you guys for joining us, man. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay fierce.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take care, guys. All right. So now we're gonna go to Jam Rock. Welcome to Jam Rock.
Let's do it.
Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's bobsled time.
Every year we try to bring an inspirational speaker, and this year it's Devon Harris, the captain of the Jamaican bobsled team. And I just love his line is keep pushing. We need to have that kind of inspirational message that in our financial lives, in our personal lives, and our goals, to keep pushing and keep pursuing those dreams. You can imagine a bobsled team in Jamaica and what he went through. I'm just really excited to hear about what his message is all about today.
You must always follow your dreams. You must always follow your dreams. And it doesn't matter how impossible they may seem, go after them, launch. Each of us has the ability to become that which we aspire to be. If you can dream it, you can be it. If there's one thing that gives radiance to everything, I think it's a hope of something better around the corner. And that's what vision does. That's what it is. And it helps us to create this clear, concise mental picture in our minds. It helps us to do just that. Begin with the end in mind. Living out our imaginations. Tying yourself to your limitless potential. And when I was in high school, in other words, when I was your age, my favorite hangout spot was right there at that lamppost. I'm not embarrassed to say I was doing the D word. What do you think that is? Anybody? Drugs? Exactly. I was dreaming, man. I wasn't doing drugs. I was dreaming.
All right.
Well, good morning. Good morning.
Push it.
Rob, I'm glad you're not asking me to sing "Welcome to Jam Rock" because I would have cleared the room.
Come on. Well, you cut me off. That was my first question.
You're flirting with disaster, man.
Oh.
I make Kermit sound like Pavarotti.
Oh my goodness. So Mr. Harris, thank you so much for joining us. 3-time Olympian, you're an entrepreneur, motivational speaker. So tell us about your company. You know, how do you go from being in the Olympics to create a company where you're motivating people all over the world?
Really good question. I'm still trying to figure that one out. So I tell you this, they say some people come into your life for a reason or a season. When I was working to get back to the Olympics, my third Olympics, I met a guy who was an agent for a couple of reggae artists. And he wanted to be my agent. I'd never had an agent, so that kind of sounded exciting. I'm like, but then he started telling me about this thing called motivational speaking. And I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. I would like to do that. But after the Olympics, kind of have to keep focused. Well, it turns out that his only reason in my life was to tell me about this thing called motivational speaking, because he never did a thing to help me to go to the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
But he had planted a seed. So,
yes.
I started working with some other people. I'm like, hey, after the Olympics, I'm going to be a motivational speaker. Don't even know what that looks like. And I remember being in Calgary training, trying to qualify, and I'd gone to the supermarket because we stayed in one of those hotel rooms where you can cook your meals after, we're on a budget. And I went to buy food and saw this book entitled "Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is." It's on my bookshelf here somewhere. And so I bought the book. So that was like the first book I ever read about, the business of speaking. In an event, I went to the Olympics, came back, started speaking for free at Rotary clubs and schools and whoever would listen to me. And then, one thing led to another, and here I am, just that's my thing now.
Wow.
Do you just speak from your heart, or where does that come from?
Yeah, so it's I'm very fortunate, I think, to have a story that transcends barriers. You know, obviously the kind of the basis and the thing that gets people to want to hear from me is the fact that I'm an original member of the Jamaica bobsled team. But you know, had a rough upbringing. I grew up in a rough part of town. Let's say it. You know when you see those ads on TV and it says "Come to Jamaica and feel all right."
Yes.
I'm not talking about my neighborhood.
Not that part.
You can't feel all right in my neighborhood. But yeah, I don't speak with notes. But it doesn't mean that I'm speaking from the seat of my flying by the seat of my pants. I prepare a lot. So the way I operate is that I have a client and I get to understand the company, the concerns that they have, the challenges that they have, and then I find ways to draw knowledges between my experience, depending on whatever it is I'm speaking on: teamwork, leadership, diversity, overcoming obstacles. This business of keep on pushing, whether it's overcoming obstacles or figuring out a way to grow beyond where you are now. And so I find those stories that from my experience that relate to the challenges that the company is facing, and I wrap all of that around some principles, and I deliver. They say it's engaging and motivational and inspirational. Nobody has booed yet. So,
right.
So knock on wood. Yeah.
Well, I saw on your website, your YouTube video where you went back to your community. And I think it specifically was a school, one of the schools that you went to. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's my elementary school, Jews Avenue Primary School. So back in 2006, I visited Jamaica and I went to the old elementary school. In Jamaica, we call it primary school, by the way. And I was speaking to the principal. I'm like, hey, so what's the biggest issue you have here? And it was that a lot of kids were going to school hungry. And we know the deal. If you're hungry, you can't learn. If you can't learn, you don't get educated. And in, places like that, if you're not educated, if you miss the bus, you have missed the bus. It's not like, the US where, hey, you go to school, you waste time and you can always get a GED and get some student loans and some government grants and still, make it. It's not that it's impossible to make it if you miss the bus in Jamaica, but it becomes infinitely harder, more difficult. So that's how I ended up starting the Keep on Pushing Foundation. And our goal is to provide practical solutions to some of the issues that are preventing kids from learning. One of them is feeding them, providing school supplies. Those are the main things that we're doing right now. We're almost done building what we call a sick bay in Jamaica, kind of like a nurse's station, a little building where kids who aren't feeling so well during the day can go hang out. Or because it's such a tough neighborhood, kids who may be having some emotional issues, a guidance counselor can go have a private room to speak to them, which is a huge improvement. The fact that they have a guidance counselor,
right.
Huge improvement from when I went to school. I didn't even know what that means. Never heard the term guidance counselor before.
Wow.
But yeah, I see myself in those kids, man. I'm them. That's that's the school I went to and ran around in, and I remember being there one year, and in a particular classroom, and it was so noisy, and I'm thinking to myself, how the hell do they learn? All right. And then I remembered I was there in those same classrooms, and in fact, now the classrooms were separated by a concrete wall. When I was there, the classrooms were only separated by a chalkboard, so it must have been even noisy.
Oh wow!
So yeah, my goal is to do all I can to help them.
Nice.
That's an inspiration for you to go from that situation and then go to the Olympics. Like, how did that even happen?
One step at a time. So what I'm talking about is my elementary school, and in Jamaica to go to high school you have to do an exam actually. So I was fortunate I passed. I wasn't all that smart. I passed on the second round. I failed the first time. And so I went to high school. And when I was in high school, when I was 15, was when I started running track, started training seriously. 1979, the year before the Moscow Olympic Games. And ABC Wide World of Sports had a series called Road to Moscow. And in it, they highlighted athletes from around the world, different disciplines. And you know, when we think of Olympic athletes, we think of these superhuman beings. And one of the things that stuck out to me from that series was how average and ordinary these people were. They're just like you and I, man. There's a guy and a girl trying to go to the Olympics, you know. So they're just simply people with extraordinary dreams, but an equally extraordinary desire and determination and drive to make those dreams become reality. And so that's how the Olympic dream got born. And I was hoping at the time to compete in the 1984 Olympic Games. Didn't come anywhere close to achieving that. But the dream was there. Also wanted to be an Army officer. So after high school, enlisted in the Army, you know, went to England to train. The Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, is like West Point, except it's the most prestigious military training school in the world. So you fast forward, I'm 21 years old, finished my Army training, and I remember having this really intense conversation with myself. I'm like, so, you know, what are you going to do with your life, man? Now that you're an Army officer, what are you going to do? Is this it? And I kind of laugh at myself now that at 21 I'm having that kind of conversation, but that was a conversation. Like, hey, you're a slacker, come on. Get going. And I'm like, oh yeah, the Olympics. So it's 1987, and the Olympics are coming up in 1988 in Seoul, Korea. Yes. Never heard of a place called Calgary before. So I'm training, I'm running, trying to get fit enough to qualify for the Olympic Games. And run about the time, 2 Americans who lived in Jamaica came up with the idea to start a bobsled team. And the guys on the summer team didn't want to do it, so they came to the Army looking for athletes. And I assumed that we were the only guys in Jamaica who were brave enough or foolish enough to want to do it. So yeah, so I went to the team trials and tried my darnest, and they selected me. And as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So with the movie, the Disney movie, I recently watched it. And could you tell us what are your thoughts? Do you think that it tells the story? Did you have input? How did that go?
So it took about 5 years for them to make that movie. Every 6 months or so, they're filming, they're not filming. And so after a while, I really got fed up. I'm like, whatever. But we actually spent a lot of time. We would fly up to New York, a bunch, speaking to the writers about our experiences, and they took copious notes. Now that I've seen the movie, I think after we left the room, they kind of threw the notepad away and go, what a load of hand me a notepad, let me write something sensible, entertaining. So here are the facts. There was a bobsled team from Jamaica. We had problem finding funding. We competed in the Olympics in Calgary and we crashed. Those are the 4 real facts. Everything else they made up to make it funny, or they stretch the truth to make it funny. So, for example, obviously, none of us were in an ice cream truck trying to acclimatize.
Right.
There was no rich boy. Nobody had dreads. 3 of us were Army guy.
Right. Okay.
If you know anything about Jamaicans, you know that we are not docile. Like the way Junior Bevel was. That would not fly.
Right.
And then when we're at the very beginning at the team selection, which was over 3 days. Well, the first day they had us at the National Stadium in Kingston, and they were just telling us about the sport, and they showed us the uniform, the lycra that we're running, and ice spikes that the athletes use, and I remember holding it and cutting myself, pricking my fingers. Really, these tiny little spikes, about a millimeter long and a millimeter apart, and it's very, very sharp. And I touch it, and I'm like that. So I started getting injured even before I got on a bobsled. But they showed us these crashes, and they were far more spectacular than the ones you saw in the movie.
Wow.
To include one where, like 4 bodies were strewn along the track, bodies everywhere, and the driver's head was like 10 meters up the track.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, and so there were about 40 of us that day that saw the clip, and the next day only about 20 people turned up.
Yeah, wow.
So you remember in the movie they show the crashes and then the room was empty, right?
Yeah.
That's an example of how they took the
Wow.
You need to tell me,
That's great.
guys.
What's that?
Yeah, if I saw that, I'd be running the opposite direction.
You know what? I sat there wondering, what the hell am I doing? but my colonel had suggested that I tried out for the team. So, I it's not like I had a choice. The colonel told me to go. I had to be there. And since I was going to be there, might as well I try and make the team. That's just what I think, So, I have a screw or two that are loose.
Can I ask how did home treat you after the Olympics? Were you treated differently when you came back home?
So after we crashed, we were really worried about going home. It was like, man, we're going to be ridiculed. And I remember we got home and we landed. The flight attendants asked everybody to remain seated while we got off, and we got to the edge of the plane and we kind of peeked out. Oh my God, there must be a crowd out there. No, people were so supportive, man. I was pleasantly surprised. People were so supportive. In fact, the government made stamps with our faces on it.
Wow.
It's kind of cool to get a letter from a friend, and on the envelope is like what a handsome devil, So it's like, it's kind of cool.
Oh man.
So
that's so. I want to ask you the question of the day. What was something that you always wanted to do as a child, but you never had an opportunity to do it?
I heard that, and I'm trying to think, man. So, one of the things that I thought I wanted to do was to become a pilot, but it's one of those things where I was never really passionate about. So it's like I don't miss it. But so anybody who's grew up in Jamaica will know about Caymanas Park. Caymanas Park is where we race horses, and like every Saturday here, and you could see the races on TV, and certainly hear the races being announced on the radio. And I've always wanted to go to Caymanas Park. In fact, my dad promised to take us, never did. Little bugger never did. So I've never been to Caymanas Park, and so my childhood is ruined. So, I never had a chance to go see the horses race.
Wow.
Yeah. You can see I'm
amazing.
still attracted by that, right?
Oh man! All right.
So I was like, I'm going to go to the Olympics and push a bobsled instead.
Oh my goodness!
I became a rebel.
Oh man! So, what part of Jamaica did you grow up in?
I grew up in Kingston.
In Kingston. Yeah. So, have you ever had the opportunity to meet Usain Bolt? And
yeah. So, when was this? I think it was after Beijing. He was in New York, and so I went. I went with another Jamaican Olympian who competed in Atlanta on the 4x4 team. Won a silver or bronze medal. I can't remember now. But so there was this event, and people were trying to get backstage, and so I called, one of the persons who were in charge, and I'm like, hey, I'm Devon Harris, original member of the Jamaica bobsled team. I'd like to come backstage. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. I didn't have to do much convincing, but I guess I was surprised. So I met him then. And then in 2013, Samsung was doing a kind of documentary commercial thingy with the original team and the current team that was vying for Sochi.
Wow.
And Usain, had a part in to play in that. He and his character, him as Usain and me as Devon on the Jamaica bobsled team, had a little dialogue at the airport. So that was kind of cool. If you search hard enough, keep on pushing Samsung documentary on YouTube, you'll find it.
Wow. Cool. All right. So let's bring in our next guest. Mr. Harris, are you gonna hang out with us a little bit?
For a couple of minutes, I'll hang for a minute.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We got a little fashion. That we're gonna get into. All right.
Let's do it. All right.
Hi, welcome.
Welcome.
How are you?
I am great. It's nice to see you guys again.
Seeing you.
Good to see you. So it's been a while, Miss Elizabeth Galan. Oh man, so you've been busy. And I see you have some beautiful stuff back there. Is that yours? That's your collection?
Yes, I actually had it in boutiques, a bunch of boutiques. And as you know, COVID has shoved us private designers out a little bit, because now I'm going online. So I have a lot of stuff in storage, and I'm designing some new lines, and I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff. It's all exciting.
Yeah.
Nice. And so, cool. And so you got to meet Mr. Harris virtually yesterday. So.
Yeah, yesterday. How are you? Good to see you again.
Thank you.
All right, cool. So Elizabeth, so tell us, I know you've been busy. You're one of the people we mentioned in the beginning that, anytime we're doing an event, you're always one of the first people to sign up, especially with the kids and whatnot. But I know, like recently, you've expanded your business, and you had to adjust due to COVID. So how has COVID-19 pandemic, how has that affected you?
Well, COVID has affected many people in many different areas of the industry of entertainment. And I, for the past 15 years, involved, in the acting, and I did a lot of stuff in the past where I dressed everybody for commercials and events and theater. I got more into the couture design. And now for the past few years, I've done many fashion shows, as you know, with you guys and with other parts of the United States. I've done New York and Miami, and of course I am Canadian as well, and European, so I do plan to expand there. But being a brand takes years, takes time, and that's my plan. Branding myself into the shoes, the clothing, the makeup, all that stuff. So that
and you have like a very interesting background, and I'm going to ask you to share some of that in a little bit. But the reason why I wanted Mr. Harris to stick around was because he has a show. Keep on pushing. You also have a show. We talk about your company, but you do a show. How often does your show air, Mr. Harris?
I every week, so every Wednesday actually, I do a live Facebook. I call that Hump Day, because we're working to get over the hump. And then once a week on Thursday, I post the interviews that I conduct.
Okay. Nice. And so and the premises of your show, I mean, you motivate people. You know, you bring on different people, you interview different people, but you encourage them. You know, between the show and their guests, it's all about encouraging people to expand their life, right?
To keep on pushing until they get
Keep
to
on
the
pushing.
next level. Yeah, live their best lives. I mean, the thing about if you listen to all of our stories here, you'll find common threads. The success principles are universal, and so I try to get people who can tell their story and share their experiences and their wisdom to hopefully inspire somebody. Because think about the number of times you have seen somebody go, wow, if they have done that, I could do that too. And I'm sure there's a young girl or boy somewhere, Elizabeth, who's going, wow, and I'd like to do what she's doing. Because they see you as living proof that it can be done.
Right. And yeah, so definitely, and like I said, I want to get into some more of Elizabeth's story. But Mr. Harris, I'm gonna go ahead and thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Stay healthy, sir. Stay safe and stay fierce and stay in touch.
All right. I like being fierce.
Yes.
And all of you as well. Stay healthy, stay fierce, pushing.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. So Elizabeth, you have a fan, Craig Keeler, sending hugs and kisses to you. Who's that? Do you know him? Is that one of your super fans? What's going on there?
I don't know.
Wow.
Not putting you on the spot or anything.
Not putting you on the spot, but I mean, what's up, Kevin? Holla. So Elizabeth. So I brought up a little bit about your story, your background. I mean, you had to keep on pushing to get to where you are now. I mean, things weren't easy, like I said, we've got to hear your story, and you've been through a lot of trials and tribulations in your background. If you don't mind, would you mind sharing whatever you feel comfortable sharing about that? Yeah, just, give us
the book, the movie. It really
just give us a premiere version.
Okay. Well, okay. So I was born in Ottawa, Canada. But when I was one, my mom and dad, they moved back to Europe, to Portugal, and she went back and forth from Spain to Portugal. But my mom really quickly my mom was an entrepreneur herself. She had wineries and real estate, all that stuff. So she was a go-getter. But as a young woman, she worked for a lot of people. She did a lot of different things. So she worked her butt off to make business for herself and for her kids, which was myself and my two brothers. Now, tragically, I lost my mom. So I lived in Portugal when I was 1 to about 8 years old, but I went back and forth as a teenager again and as a young woman. But okay, so my languages, I speak 3 fluent languages. I speak fluent Portuguese, Spanish, and French, because being also in Canada, in Ottawa, you have to know French immersion. So after my mom tragically died, I was 7. We moved back to Canada to be with a short time with my dad for a couple of years. And there we lived with family and other people. So I had an interesting life. I won't go into that until it's in the book next year. But okay, so I married somebody in my 20s here from the States. I met him in Ottawa. I was in the U.S. Army. He's the father of my 3 kids. So, 18 years, had a divorce due to something. And I, from there, have been a single parent now for over 7 years for the 3 kids. Now, it's so, I have 3 daughters. I think most people know my kids were actors and performers and you name it. They've been doing filming and okay, so I have a daughter that you probably hear in the background. That's Abigail.
What's up, Abby?
Right on cue.
She's on her other Mac computer with singing away, and I see, So, anyways, so I have Laura. Laura's 22. She's married, and she's doing great. And my daughter, 18-year-old, who chose to go on her own, which is Natalia. She sung for many years, and she's still going to do it. She's just finishing up school and all that stuff. Then I have, now, tragically, Natalia, at age of 10, had severe arthritis. It's called polyarticular GI disease. So she was acting and doing commercials and singing, and she all of a sudden had a lot of pain in her body, and she was diagnosed with this. So I had to take all the kids out of school, homeschool them, and do my theater and fashion and all that, as I was running a trucking company as well. I don't know how I did that. And I did it here in Orlando for 6 years. I had 6 big rigs. So yeah, I have quite a bit. I'm an entrepreneur. So okay, so it went out of business after 7 years, 6 years, and I continue on with branding myself in fashion because I noticed I had a lot of talent. I used to watch my aunt. So she worked with Dallas show. I mean, amazing. She dressed them all up. She was the designer. She had a lot of rich clientele. I had a monkey beside me. It was pretty cool. Wow. So I learned a lot from her. I didn't play too much. My family made me learn a lot: cooking, sewing, work, clean, working. Just I lived in the land. We had horses, cattle, we had sheep, we had name it, porcupines. My mom had all kinds of animals.
Did you say porcupines?
Porcupines and bees. She used to make me get the honey with her. Oh my God. My mom was crazy. Anyways, no. My mom was, I think I have a little bit of her, of wanting to experience different businesses, different things, and I think I've got a lot of her in me. But I have a dream like everybody, and I have to stay on my lane. So I'm staying on the lane of what I think not only provides for my family and help friends and family, but I want to say that, well, basically I want to say that this dream of mine, it will come true. I'm doing a lot in the industry of entertainment. For example, right now, I'm on film sets. I've done quite a few films where I'm wardrobe and styling. And not only do I design and make it, but I also have to style everybody on set.
Wow.
And so
it's crazy. So, Elizabeth, coming to that story, and like Devon said, you had to, I'm sure people are looking up to you and saying that, you're an inspiration. I see people commenting, Devon Bentecourt say, "Hey, Betta." so you got fans, saying, Wayne Zamora said that from Latin Connection magazine, he said that you were one of his covers, saying hi to you, you know what I mean? And I'm sure, and we know just from you doing our shows, Orlando International Fashion Week, and especially with the kids love you, you know what I mean? So, we know personally that there has been times where you've been going through difficult situations, but you produce, when it's showtime, the clothing is excellent. The production, your models are happy, you know what I'm saying? And you treat everyone with love and respect. So how do you, pull that? Where does that come from inside to be able to put aside the difficulties that you're dealing with at the time? And, when it's showtime, just produce. Tell us about that.
Okay, I'm a Christian, so I pray each and every time, every day. And that's my number one. Number two is my willpower, my knowledge, my experience, but it's people. It's people around me. I get a lot of people involved, and I'm involved with a lot of people. Look at this. I have my kitten here for Abby. Sorry. I had Buddy, and I get this one here just wants to play. I told Abby, put her away. So, I love animals. I grew up with animals. So, okay, Abby, we're live right now. Okay. So anyway, basically everybody knows I'm a mom. I love my kids. I'm very involved. I want them to succeed. And now my kids are my willpower as well. I want to be a good example for them. I want to set a good example that as a parent, not only do we want to educate them, but teach them homedics, teach them knowledge on life, adversities, you know, and that
Right.
you have a team that if you put your mind into something and you love to do it, you don't think about the money. You think, I mean, work side jobs, do that dream too. You know, it'll come true if you truly believe you can do it and you want to do it bad enough. The money will come. You know,
Right.
it's just you have to have that drive. You know, I mean, I grew. My brothers are talented. I've got a gift. I do. My brain. I design. I make. I mean, I can make 20. You know, honestly, I have a lot of, I'm very blessed with what I can do. I don't know everything. There are days I have a show and it's in 1 week, I have 20 people and I have to get them. I have a team too. I subcontract friends that use know. I help them. And what I'm doing is I'm subcontracting hairstylists, makeup people. They don't work, they're not employees of my company. They are subcontracted, so they get paid on that event. So what I do is I bring them in, and if I have too much to do or a couple of productions, and I'm working on my lines and my web store. I mean, I'm really working on different things.
That's amazing. So let me, if you don't mind, you know, we can see a little bit of that stuff behind you, but would you mind pulling that mannequin up? I mean, so people could see at home, could see like the beauty of your work, like the yes, that is awesome.
I saw but these are on production too, and
that is beautiful.
Yeah, I have everything in storage because my store is about to. I mean, we're working on it. So, and I have my T-shirts coming out. Not only that, the services I'm going to offer. I'm going to be booked, and I'll bring my team in for, you know, music videos, events, or films, commercials, photography, and I come in and I can help you get not just the set ready, but if you know, wardrobe, makeup, hair, just get everything ready. You know, I provide that. And I bring in a team with me as well to help. I don't always do it by myself.
Nice. So I do want to ask you the question of the day, if you don't mind. So if I know you were watching backstage and we talked a little bit about it, but what is something that you always wanted to do as a child but you never had an opportunity to do it?
You're gonna laugh. I wanted to be a singer because a singer.
Oh wow.
Wow. Yeah, and then when I noticed that my Natalia at the age of 3 was called by Disney, and she sung in this downtown Disney thing. Anyway, she was auditioning, and I saw that she had a voice, and I said, "Oh my gosh, that's what I wanted to do as a kid myself." And I lived through Natalia a little bit, you know, because I saw her, and I know she's a teenager. Right?
She's awesome.
Yes, she is.
Beautiful, inside out, and great.
She sure is. I'm bringing her on board. She's just finishing up her school and getting her car. You know how it is. She's a teenager. She's exploring her independence.
That's what's up. And and kids definitely need to do that. You know, to be able to grow. You know, you gotta let them get that opportunity. So Elizabeth, I want you to hang out a little bit. We're gonna get ready to do. I want to get into Starr's segment real quick, and then we'll transition. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I publicly say now the website's going up, and I give a free consultation. So when you call me, I have my own separate line for business. So when you call, you log into www.lavibetta.llc.com, and you're going to see my store up very soon, and you're going to see the services that I provide, and you can call me for a free consultation, and because I provide more than just the store. There's a lot of different things that I do to help the community.
What is that? Lavie, Lavie?
Yeah.
BETA, right?
LLC.com.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. All right, let's do it.
Okay, so everyone, a couple weeks ago, I had a segment where I spoke about how you can do your own in-home photo shoots, and you don't even really need anybody to help you. So we're piggybacking off of that, and we're giving you ideas on how to do photo shoots, like inspiration while you're in the home, while you're stuck in the home with COVID still going on. So we have footage there to share with you, and hopefully it'll get your inspirational, creative juices going. And we would love to get feedback on, like, if you are trying these out, we would love for you to somehow maybe message us on our page and show us photos of what you've created. So it's pretty cool. I'm the person that's putting my mind to it and dabbling in it myself. I've been posting as well. So Jessica, we have footage, correct?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Nice. Stay home, stay safe, and stay fierce. So yeah, we just wanted to leave you that with that, Elizabeth, so you can see a little bit of inspiration. So the next time you're doing your photo shoot, some stuff that you can incorporate. Yeah. So you guys at home, just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank all of our guests, Kevin Kahn and Danie B. We appreciate you for being here, Mr. Devon Harris, and our good friend, fierce family, Miss Elizabeth Galan. Thank you, Mr. Matthew Cooley, that had to go and celebrate in the Jewish holiday. Yesterday was the official kickoff for the Jewish New Year, and so shout out to all of our Jewish friends out there. Happy New Year to you guys. Thank you, my little sister Jessica, and my sister from another Mr. Starr Dalton. You guys at home, thank you for watching. If you're watching this, please share it to your friends, share it to groups of people that you like, anybody that might, be a fan of 95.3, that would be a fan of the Jamaican bobsled team, or just motivation speaking in general. And anybody that could use Miss Elizabeth Galan's services or just loves fashion and entertainment. All right. Love you guys. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay fierce.
Peace.
Tron, aka Tronny Blaze, putting it down for my fierce crew each and every Friday, 6 p.m.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Mimi from Peace on the Streets. Right now, we have 3 power hitters, guys. We have Fierce and Jennifer Young Agency, along with Peace on the Streets Radio. We developed a program called Media Power Push program on the MediaPowerPush.com.
And that program starts out with a business strategic consultation that's going to determine what your call to action is from your business.
This will also include your listing in the IBA Success Magazine directory, a roll call on Peace on the Streets Radio, pop-up banners at events, a digitally created ad, and an appearance on Fierce Entertainment Live. On top of all of that, Your ad will be placed on all of our social media platforms 2 times a month.
And what you guys are going to get is the power of these 3 companies. And we are so excited to bring that to you.